Hello, my name is Aaron Cavanagh and I'm the founder and editor-in-chief of Post-Burnout.com. Post-Burnout.com is a culture website dedicated to venerating burnt-out artists the world over. This is our website's podcast where we publish full-length recordings of our interviews, which are sometimes the unedited versions of our site's articles and at other times are exclusives. If you're a returning listener, thank you for coming back, and if this is your first time listening, thank you for checking us out. We hope you enjoy and consider subscribing, giving the episodes a thumbs up if you're on YouTube, or giving it a rating if you're anywhere else. It really helps us out. Thank you. In this edition of PostBurnout.com interviews, we talk with the Irish musician and producer Dan Ryan. Dan has been producing music and releasing them exclusively on SoundCloud since 2010, but he began releasing it on all platforms last September. Dan tells us about this decision, why he's now accepting press after years of avoiding it, the new direction his project is going in, and his latest single, Lagan Love. Thank you very much and enjoy. Hey Dan, how's it going? Can you hear me okay?
Can you hear me?
Oh, there we go. How's it going, man? It's nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, dude. How's things?
I'm grand, man. Actually, you're from Tala, if I'm getting that correct. I was wondering what part. I'm from Kilmainham myself.
All right, I'm Furhouse.
Oh, nice, yeah.
Where's Kilnamana now? I know the
It's
name.
do you know Kingswood? It's just opposite that.
Ah, yeah. Is that like
Yeah.
where the basketball arena is?
It's not too far from it. It's just that's more in like time north. It's just a bit of a walk
Okay.
up. So yeah.
All right. Close by.
Dude, I have to ask, you've been doing music for a while now, and obviously, I mean, like in terms of like social media presence, in terms of press, like the word that's used to describe you is enigmatic. I don't know if you agree with that adjective or not, but I was wondering, like, recently you've been making music now on SoundCloud for about 15 years, if I'm correct. Now, obviously, I mean, you've recently started bringing your music over to Spotify. You're now starting to do press. I was wondering, why the kind of change, I guess, towards more, I guess, breaking down that mystery.
Yeah, I don't know. Just there's only so far you can go on SoundCloud, you know. People want to listen on Spotify and all that. So just as I'm trying to be making more and better music, I just kind of figure may as well put it out as much as possible everywhere you can, you know.
hmm
So there's great services now where you can give it to them and they'll just put it on everything for you. So it's easy really, you know. I always kind of looked at it and was like, how are these people on Spotify? But it's quite simple actually to do, you know. So
Yeah.
it's just a matter of trying to put it out there as much as possible so as many people as possible can listen to it, you know.
Was that decision to kind of, I guess, not be mainstream? Was that like a conscious decision, or is that just kind of how it went? Or were you attempting to kind of have a wider reach from the get-go?
And not really. It's just kind of like I don't like doing promotion, like, you know.
Yeah.
It's always just been a kind of thing I do and I don't know, I just find it hard, like I think it's an Irish thing or something trying to talk yourself up and big
Yeah.
yourself up. I always kind of felt like if you have good music and you put it out there, it'll do the work itself. But like I don't know, I just guess finally I should just bite the bullet and try and do a bit of it, you know, and
Yeah.
put it up on as much platforms as I can and kind of go that way as it to hopefully get it out to more people.
Yeah, it's interesting because like I've talked to other artists who've kind of like who started kind of like even in the vinyl area, some people in the CD area and CD era and so on, tape, and then talk to them about how they've kind of acclimatized to the digital era. But for you, it's kind of an interesting thing because like, back in like the 2010s, the early 2010s, I mean, like as you mentioned, like services like Spotify and stuff, sorry, Spotify, SoundCloud, I meant, were around. But even in that like 15-year time span, I mean, how do you think that like the digital era has kind of changed?
Yeah, it's just like I mean it's not really great for artists even, is it? Like this Spotify
No.
thing is kind of ruining it, you know. And I listened to a few of your podcasts, and like most people out in music these days, they have jobs, you know.
Yeah.
And I think a part of that is to do with all that kind of Spotify and stuff. So it's kind of like good in one way, but I don't know. I just think it'd be better. Like imagine now, because there's like serious talent in Ireland now between bands and producers. Like it's like even when I was thinking back to like when I was making tunes 10, 15 years ago, I feel like there was only like a handful of people making actual good tunes.
Yeah.
And now it's like crazy. Like there's all these young fellas, 17-year-olds putting out music and they're fucking quality, like, you know, and then
Yeah.
so many good Irish bands. And I just feel like imagine if all these people got to do it full time and got paid for it, how even better it would be then. So it's kind of a double-edged sword, you know. It's good for getting it out there. But at the same time, I don't know. I just feel like it'd be better if people were buying CDs and shit again, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
Better for the
No,
artists and
totally.
better for like the culture in general. Like,
Yeah, I mean, even like I guess like what I'm seeing a resurgence on because like vinyl is still a bit inaccessible for a lot of artists and stuff like that. But what I'm seeing a big resurgence in is tape. Now I don't know how much it costs like to get tape manufactured, um, and I remember like even back in the day like burning CDRs and shit like that, and just like I
yeah,
remember like even if you go around like if you went around like Grafton Street or something like that, like all the buskers would have CDRs of their music and stuff like that. You could pay them in a very direct way, and that's of
yeah,
course that's when people like still carry cash around. I think everyone's just like using card now, myself included. So like even if they had that option, they'd have to have like a Revolut or like what would you call it, like a
yeah.
card reader or something like that. So
Well,
even then, I
Bandcamp,
mean, sorry, good.
Bandcamp is kind of like a version of that now. You're familiar with
It
Bandcamp?
is, yeah.
That's like
Oh
where you
yeah,
can
yeah,
put music up. And like I noticed now, Jamie XX, his last album, I don't think he had a label or nothing like that. I think he just put it up there, and
yeah,
it was €1 per song, which is fair. I'd be interested to see how much he made out of that. But like, when you're that big, like, why would you? You know,
yeah.
like what you could just put it up in Bandcamp, have people pay €1 per song, and you cut out the middleman. You know, so I kind of think there's a that's good, and I'd be surprised if more people don't start doing that. You know, but I guess you need to be as big as Jamie XX for that to work. Like,
Did the accessibility of getting music published back in the day, is that what kind of inspired you to start making your own music, or were you making your own music anyway, and then these platforms kind of came about?
yeah, it's just like I used to be in bands and everything, you know, like from
Hmm.
about the age of 14, I was in bands and it was great crack and all, but it's very easy. Like dealing with a lot of people is a pain in the hole, you know,
Hmm.
and like I
Yep.
see bands and they're lugging their equipment to gigs and all, and it's a lot of work, but like with doing the music I do, you can just sit at a PC with a few little bits of kit and you don't rely on anyone and you can just get into your zone and do it. So that's kind of like that's what I like about that side of it, you know, where you can just work on your own time and just fire away and you don't have to, have mad amounts of equipment and recording, rehearsal rooms and all that crack. So there's definitely something very alluring about that side of it to me. Like I love just getting locked in on a tune and just kind of being able to do my own thing with a few little bits of kit. And it's crazy, like you pretty much have a studio. Like if you can afford like software and a few bits of MIDI synthesizers and stuff like that, you don't have to go to a recording studio in your bedroom, you know. So it's
Yeah.
crazy, like it's crazy how far it's come along in that regards, and that's amazing. That's why we're seeing so many good producers and stuff coming out because for very little money you can just get this incredible setup in your bedroom and away you go, you know.
Yeah, no, the home recording thing, like I remember that really blowing up again around that era. What sort of equipment were you using like when you first began?
And when I first when I was in from about age of 14 to about 17, 18, 19-ish, I was in bands. I was in punk bands, and then I had this other band that was kind of, I don't know what you call them. But then I had my first bit of equipment was this like 4-track recorder. Like I had 4 jacks on the top of it, and you could plug your guitar in, you could
Yeah.
record. I thought it was amazing, this thing. I found it the other day actually. I'd love to be able it's not it's broken. I'd love to be able to play it again and hear the stuff I was making. But like I do, I never really learned how to use it properly. I would just kind of plug in instruments into it, and then what I do is I had a kind of software that was a drum machine, and I'd plug that in and I'd loop up beats and like, but it was great at the time, you know.
Yeah.
But that's kind of the earliest bit of like kind of doing it on my own bit of kit I had. But it was great, you know, it was great crack to play around with.
Yeah, no, when you listen to your music, you can really hear like the versatility of instrumentation. I mean, do you have a preference for digital versus analog or anything like that, or like I guess more traditional instrumentation like acoustic guitars and all these things that make their way in, or do you think like it's actually the best method is just kind of blend it all and see what you can get?
Yeah, like I'm more now leaning towards like because I stopped going to like I had a kid about 10 years ago and I stopped going to nightclubs. And I've noticed as time goes by, when you're not going to nightclubs and kind of dance music, I still love it, but like it's not what I listen to, you know. Like I'm
Hmm.
not chilling on a Tuesday, listen to house music, you know. But
Yeah.
I kind of more into kind of electronic stuff. But yeah, the more like I'm getting to now, I'm kind of leaning towards I want to make more, as I kind of call it, like earphone music, like stuff that you just listen to when you're doing, when you're out and about, rather than like heavy dance stuff, which I don't know, it just doesn't, I don't really listen to it as much anymore. So yeah, I want to like that's what I want now. Ideally, I'd like to get more instruments, like live instruments, put it into it, and like more actual vocalists and strings and stuff like that, and blend them. But always have that kind of like essentially the drums. Like I just love the drums out of electronic music. Like I think they're so fucking tribal and just big, and I just think
Yeah.
that like if I could get all these different genres that I like and kind of find a place where they all come together, that's kind of what I'm aiming for the last few years, you know?
Yeah. And what sort of music do you like? Because like you mentioned there the kind of variety. So I was wondering like who'd your inspirations be? Because like it's interesting like coming from the punk background to doing electronica. I mean it's like it's really not that uncommon, I think. Like a lot of people come
Yeah.
either from punk or metal and go into electronic music. It's actually a pretty common trajectory, I think.
It is, yeah. I don't know why that is because like punk music, like the stuff I was listening to, Minor Threat and all this, like
Yeah.
it's so badly, like I love it, but it's so badly recorded. Like, and these
Yeah.
guys couldn't play their instruments, and it just sounds like a mess to someone who didn't really get it. But like, then you go to dance music, and dance music is all pure polished and just like
Hmm.
so clear and crispy and everything. So I don't
Yeah.
know why that is, but like it's the same with a lot of my mates. We were all mad into punk, into metal, and then we all kind of started when we got to 18, 19. Maybe it was because of fucking drugs and stuff like that. It might have helped, but we all ended up going into dance music. It was funny because we're all going back now. Like
Yeah.
what I listen to mainly now is like I've got big into the Ragger Boys lately. They kind of blow me away. What's that other kind of punk band doing the rounds now? Your man's got pink hair. I can never think of the name of them. Everyone's mad about them now there. But other than that, like I did into loads of stuff. Like my playlist is really like one song after another. Like different genres. So it's
Hmm.
kind of whatever. Like I love classical music as well. That's like a big one for me. And that's just like classical music is if somebody was actually into it, like that's just a broad term I'm using, but just anything with like strings and that kind of epic stuff that comes with classical music, I love a lot. So
Yeah.
that's as far as my music go, that's probably my biggest influence, like classical stuff, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Like that's what I want to kind of capture and have like banging drums behind it that would sound really good on big speakers. That's kind of what I'm been trying to get to the last few years. But yeah, I listen to a bit of everything. I love folk music. Yeah, a bit of everything. But I'm not sure how much a lot of it influences the music I make. So really, the stuff that would influence the music I make would be classical music and some electronica stuff.
It's interesting actually you mentioned like minor threat there. Like I've heard people like do like private remasters of like kind of old badly recorded 80s hardcore music, and it's just like I don't know man, it just sounds like it's weird because there's not authenticity to that kind of method of recording music, which is like cheap, fast, quick, right? Just get it done, get it in record
Yeah.
because we only have so much money. Let's pull it together and just get it our album recorded as quick as possible. And then when people try and like make it more, I guess, professional sounding, I don't know, it kind of loses a bit of that charm, I
Oh,
think.
absolutely. Yeah. That's part
Yeah,
of the charm of it. Like,
yeah,
I mean, the Misfits are another one. They like, again, it's lo-fi, but like the way their stuff just sounds, just a sound off of that. Now, if you mastered that out of it, it wouldn't be the same at all. But
yeah.
yeah, I don't know what it is, and that's kind of why I don't judge people on like music, what they're into, because at the end of the day, the music I grew up on, it's like four drunk assholes who can't play their fucking instruments, and it sounds like it was recorded like from like inside of a fucking dungeon somewhere. So like,
Yeah.
but that shit kicks with me and it means a lot to me. So who am I to judge? So I always kind of keep that in mind when I'm listening to something and going, oh, who listens to that? But it's like, we all have our own likes and dislikes.
It's interesting about the Misfits you mentioned there. Like back when they first started in like 77 or 78, it was like their original recordings, and they got there was an album that was released years later called Static Age, I think, and like they brought some of those recordings over. And what's interesting is they didn't have a full band then, so it was just like bass and a MIDI, and
Yeah,
they were and obviously Glenn Danzig's vocals, and it was just like they were able to kind of still capture that kind of intense atmosphere that you associate with the Misfits, just
yeah,
with that
right.
limited track. I don't know if you've ever listened to that stuff too, but I think like there are actually bands like punk bands from that era, like Suicide, and I'm trying to think who else. There was like Cabaret Voltaire and all these kind of bands who were taking like punk music but incorporating electronica onto it, and a lot of that was like really lo-fi from that era. I don't know if you're interested in
Yeah.
those kind of acts, but that like it was interesting, I think, time, I guess.
Yeah, and like the Sleaford Mods, they're going around
Yeah.
now, but they're kind of doing that kind of, they
Yeah,
don't
they
even
are.
have a
Yeah.
band. It's just a guy. He presses play, kind of a Bez character. He presses
Yeah,
play, but
yeah,
he's just producing. He's not using an actual live instruments, and it sounds great. Like, you know, so
yeah.
yeah, I can see. And like then the Viagra Boys. I mean, I don't even consider them punk, but they got a few little, you know, synthesizers and stuff in there, so it's kind of like a nice mix. I think, you know, I think it
Yeah.
works together.
And Death Grips too, I've that.
Yeah, yeah. What's that song? I got what was it? I got on the video was all the different pictures. I got something, but yeah, they do it well. They do it really well.
Yeah. I want to talk then about your new song that's coming up, Lagan Love. I mean, this obviously, trad song that you're kind of putting your own twist on. I was wondering actually, because this song has been recorded by loads of different artists. Like it's like a century old, if not more. It's been recorded by like loads of different artists throughout the 20th and 21st century. So I was wondering, like, I don't know, is that like intimidating then to kind of go like, I'm gonna I'm gonna like do my own thing, or is it like, no, I actually have a bunch of reference points. Did you listen to other versions of it? Obviously in the press release it was mentioned that the Lemoncello song, the Lemoncello rendition of the song was an influence, but did you kind of like check out what the competition was before you went for it?
I didn't really, you know, like I feel like I've done that sometimes. I found a really good sample sometimes. I'm like, this is it. And then I go, oh, this is too good. Someone else has sampled this. And then I'll Google it and there'll be all these great covers. And I'm like, no. But like with that one, I didn't go. I mean, obviously I know the song and I know it's got loads, but like I didn't go digging around. I was kind of fairly confident that maybe I'm wrong, that
Yeah.
nobody has done it in a kind of with big banging break beats behind it. So I don't know. I'll have to maybe check after that. I never even thought about that. Maybe someone else has done a really good kind of electronic cover of it. But no, I just no, not with that now, but with other things I would like with other samples I find I can always check it out. But no, this one I kind of figured like, it's a trad song. It's been done traddy, and maybe, you know, this is something that I think could be an interesting twist. And I actually quite like. I don't usually like my songs when I finish them. I'm kind of sick of them, but I
Mhm.
do like this one, so I'm like confident enough to be like, no, I think it's decent. You know, I think it's decent with the rest of them.
Is that the highest you go for compliment yourself? Decent.
Yeah, yeah, it'll do. It'll do.
Good just doesn't sit right on my mouth.
No, no.
Um, what was kind of, I guess, like, why this song in particular, I guess, to go for? I mean, was it just the Limoncello version kind of inspired something in you, or?
Yeah, it's just like I heard the like it actually is a sample of Lemoncello, like
Yeah,
and I heard that song and I'm kind of always looking for like I'm always listening out for samples, you know. And I have that's the great thing about Shazam is when you fucking hear someone
yeah,
somewhere, you can get it out. But I just hear it and I loved it, and it was there was no instruments behind it, and that's something I've always looked for because you want something clear. Now there's all software now that I've yet to try out. But apparently now you can just put an AI thing on and take any vocal off any track, which is I'm waiting now to get stuck into that because that's kind of a complete game changer. But anyway, I just heard it and I just thought it was lovely, and I love trad music and I love that kind of Irish energy, and I just threw it into the software and started playing around with it. And eventually I got something I liked out of it, you know. That's kind of it. If I'd messed around and something shite came out, I would have dished it. But I threw it in and I started playing around with it. I put the intro chords behind it and I just really liked it. And then that was it. It was kind of a way then, and I ended up with something I really like. So I said, I'll throw this out and see if anyone likes it, you know?
yeah. Well, actually, something that's interesting, you're kind of just mentioned there, like, when you hear like a sample you like, you'll tend to try and reference if other people have used it. I was wondering, is there any kind of like database or something where you can find out like who sampled what, or is it literally just trying, like, how do you kind of like find what you're
There
looking
is
for?
it's a website called Who Sampled. And
Okay.
it does, yeah, it does that. It'll if you put a song up there, it tells you everybody who sampled it, and it's really thorough actually. Like someone must be because I put up new songs out here and they're already up there, so
Yeah.
that's kind of handy. That's the go-to when you have something you're not sure if it's been done, throw it up there, and then when it's a real good sample and then you find nothing on that, you're like, yes, away we go. But I think usually people, all the good ones, they're kind of getting taken. You know, there's so many people
Yeah.
producing now that's rare to find. That's the one you're looking for. And I think I found that with this Lagan Love. You know, Lagan Love, um, is I found something that nobody has come across yet. So I kind of feel like I hit the lottery with a really good vocal. You know.
The other thing I was noticing when I was like listening to this song, and also just kind of your discography in general. I mean, it's that kind of to me it seems like a real mesh of like multi-genre kind of bricolage, to use a 5 cent word. Just kind of a combination of like many different genres and elements. Is that just a natural reflection on you as a listener trying to incorporate different elements, or is it you just kind of go, I want to make this something more than just an electronica song?
Yeah, I guess like every kind of decent artist I think wants to make something different, something
Yeah,
that like hasn't been heard before. So I'm always kind of striving for that, like like having your own sound. You know the way like if you hear now, I'm not comparing myself to any of these, but if you hear like the Prodigy,
yeah,
a Prodigy track a mile away. If you hear, Coldplay, not Coldplay, Radiohead, or like people have their own sound, and I think that's like what I think that's what you should kind of aim for when making music.
yeah,
Um, but yeah, it's just a lot of it is I've been trying to incorporate different genres. That's what I've been doing lately. I made one. I found a cool kind of classical violin bit, and I made a tune out of that. And I found it with Lagan Love. But I'm just kind of looking for big epic sounds nowadays. And a lot of that is classical, or this time it was Irish music. Just trying to look for a big epic, the stuff that kind of makes you feel warm when you hear it. And I just want to try and build them out into dance tracks or kind of electronica tracks. So that's just kind of all I'm really aiming for. And as I said, I'm not really, because a lot of stuff I used to make years ago was house and all that, and I've kind of gone away from that. So I just want to make stuff, yeah, that incorporates different genres, sounds like you mightn't have heard it before, which is really hard to do, because everybody borrows from everybody, but sounds like something you mightn't have heard before. Yeah, that's kind of mainly what I'm going for, and whatever gets me there. Like if I could find a cool like polka sample and it worked, I'd put it in a track. Anything
yeah.
really, anything I like from a genre. I want to kind of mesh that in there and make something that sounds like banging out of it.
And does it start actually with just for like your process? I mean, does it start with hearing something that then inspires what the sound will be, or is it having kind of a concept sort of in the abstract and then kind of trying to find music then that kind of meshes with what it is you want?
Yeah, no, it mostly for me starts around samples.
Yeah,
Then they haven't all, but like mostly it's me finding something I like and working with that and starting with that and building things around it. And I guess like I mean sampling, I guess it's kind of stealing in a way, but like it's how I work anyway. Like, it's really important sampling,
sure.
like everybody uses it,
Oh
and
yeah, totally.
you'd be amazed, like you'd be amazed how many people like the songs that you would think that are made that aren't samples, that are samples. It just brings something that I can't, as much as my gear here is, I don't know how to play violin. I don't know how to play strings. I could go off and learn for a year and then buy two of the most expensive mics going and but until that point, like, yeah, it just I find samples that I like that I think are beautiful and just make me feel like warm on the in the chest, and then just kind of work from there, and I'll build around it. Put drums on it, put bass behind it, and see where I can get it until you get to that bit where you realize, oh, this is what I'm after. And then
Yeah.
and then you're away.
Yeah, I'm thinking I could be getting this wrong. I'm trying to remember, but I think it was the Beastie Boys. They on I think it was the Illmatic album. They used some samples, and the copyright holder of it like sued them. And I think the court case ended up saying, well, no, they're actually transforming this and they're making this something new. So I think that
Yeah,
has actually been settled in a court of law. So you
yeah.
don't have to worry about plagiarism or anything like
And that
that.
whole album, like, it's amazing how they got away with that. Like, that whole
Yeah.
album is just samples on top of samples. It's brilliant. Like, it's
Yeah,
brilliant.
I think they didn't ask because I think beforehand you kind of had to ask permission, but they just went ahead and did it. So that's why
Yeah.
he said the court case, which thankfully worked out in their favor.
Yeah, and I think like if you make a song and you're sampling it and you start making money off it, that's when I think they come after you.
Yeah.
But nobody makes money in music anymore unless you're Kanye West. So, but did you see in that? I think did you watch the Beastie Boys documentary?
I didn't see it. No, was that the one on Apple TV Plus? I think or something.
Don't know
I
what
don't
it's
think I
on.
have
It's
it.
really good now. It's got the guy who's dead. I always mix them up. But anyway, the two aren't
Adam
there on
Yacht, isn't it?
stage.
Yeah.
But they talk about him. Is it Ad Rock? Ad
Oh
Rock,
yeah,
I
Ad
think.
Rock. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah, he's
That
the
I
one
was
who's
thinking.
dead,
Yeah,
isn't he?
yeah,
But
Adam.
they
Yeah,
talk about him sampling. And they said they went into his room. This is back in the 80s, and like he had all these cassette tapes and all
yeah,
he like on this big rig, like
yeah.
something that he just kind of invented himself. So if you want to talk about sampling, like, you know what I mean? I'm clicking it on his PC, and he's there like fucking putting up these tapes and this big contraption in front of him. So Yeah,
I remember, yeah, years ago, like when people were doing like home videos and stuff like that, they had to have like two VHS recorders, right? And you'd play the tape on one end that you filmed, and then you put a blank VHS in the other player, and then try and sync them up and record it. So people that do that, I'm like, that is just insane. Like there
yeah,
is the people who only know digital and don't know like tape and analog, I think they're like don't know how lucky they have it because it's just everything
yeah.
like editing and all is so accessible now, you know?
It's crazy now, like, compared to what it used to be. Like I remember like I had a tape cassette and all that, and the disc man, you had to
Yeah.
walk down the street with it in your hand in case it skipped and all that, you know. Like my daughter doesn't even know. I showed her CDs, and then she's like, "What's that?" I was like, I didn't think they were that far gone, you know. She
No.
genuinely had no clue what it was. Like,
Yeah, I guess well, like yeah, I was thinking about that. Like, is like vinyl made such a comeback that that's probably more like younger
yeah,
people probably know that more than they would actually CDs. Because like yeah, I remember when
yeah,
like CDs were like the like actually I grew up kind of in the vinyl tape era, then went to digital and like CD was seen as like the vinyl killer, but now it's all just kind of come back. I don't know if these things are going to go in modes. Like I said, I mean, I'm seeing a huge resurgence in like tape. Like every like some of the
yeah.
gigs I go to, like tape is at the merch stand and stuff, you know?
How would you play that though? I mean, you'd have to go on eBay and buy a tape player, wouldn't
You'd
you?
have to get
Like,
tape deck, yeah. I think
yeah,
some people if they have really old cars still have tape decks, like if you get a secondhand
yeah.
car, but like that's about it, yeah, I don't know.
I could see that working, you know. I could see like tape
Yeah.
was handy. Tape was durable. You could bring it out
Yeah.
and, you know, yeah, I could see that making a comeback. Yeah, it's kind of interesting, all right. Yeah,
Yeah, like CDs are kind of gone out because like even the last few like the last two laptops I've had didn't have like a CD port for
yeah.
you had to get
No,
like
that's
an
gone.
extension
Yeah,
if you wanted that like all that's gone you know and actually as like we're saying like about burning CDs and shit like that it's like you know that used to be just so handy like burning a CD was so easy now it's like you have to go and get this extension shit. Like now it's like again just if you want it's just kind of like I guess digital like playlists you know.
yeah. And I like. I'm kind of paranoid about that. Like, I keep a. I have a hard drive and I've got all my movies on it and all my music. You know,
Yeah.
if I really like an album, I'll download it. Because
Yeah.
I'm just always worried. You know, I'm always like, I'm all paranoid. Like, what if the internet goes down one day and never comes back? You know, I want my
Well, that's
tunes.
what's
Like,
happening because, like, you
spotless.
know, artists can pull shit from Spotify, and so like everyone's just using Spotify. And it's like, well, if an artist pulls it, then you have to kind of think about like, oh, how do I own
Yeah,
this music? I actually think there's something nice too about just owning like a collection of music. It kind of says something about you. Like even I have like an old CD collection, and some of them I'm quite embarrassed to admit I bought over the years.
yeah.
I'm like, oh, Jesus, but you know, it is kind of a part of your history in a way.
Yeah, yeah. No, I wanna. Yeah, I look at my old CDs. Kind of feel sad looking at them, you know. But I don't
Yeah,
even have any way to play them now. Like, but I must go out and get an old CD player off eBay or something. Because I
yeah,
got some good ones. Like, I got some good CDs there, you know.
yeah.
But geez, yeah, it's just all Spotify now, and no more CDs.
Have you found actually because you just made transition to Spotify back in September, if I believe, actually when it came to getting those old songs, I mean, do you have them all archived and backed up, or was it kind of just a matter of downloading them from your SoundCloud?
Yeah, I'd have them all saved. Yeah, had them
Yeah,
all saved there because I think you lose quality when you download it from SoundCloud. So
yeah.
I think actually a few of them I had to because I haven't got them anymore. They're going that far back. Um, but no, most of them I just keep them there on the hard drive. So I was able to just upload them again.
It's that easy then to kind of have that archive, like, because like as someone who's been doing it for as long as you have to kind of have the original masters. Let's say, I mean, is that an easy thing to kind of keep?
Yeah, like to be honest with you, man, I'm really like I didn't get anything mastered. I didn't even know what I was doing.
Yeah.
When I first started, you know, like when I
I was
first started
using the term
producing.
master quite loosely, by the
Yeah, but
way.
like when I first few tunes I made that people liked, like there was one called Housework that people seem to really like. And then when I say people, I mean a few people around Dublin, nothing that big. But like
Mm,
I made that song on it was a PC my dad gave me. What it was remember back in the day you'd have you could put a coin in a supermarket and get the
yeah,
internet. It was one of them, right? And
yeah. I
I
remember
had
they sell them in Tesco. Yeah,
yeah, my dad
that's
owned
fucking.
them and
I forgot about
anyway
that,
he got
man.
rid
I
of
forgot about
yeah.
that.
So I had that one. We got rid of the coin, but obviously, and so it was just this bogey computer. And then I had like old school stereos, but I only had one of them. And like I had to cut the wire and I had to attach it to a jack. So it was like as lowbrow as you could go, you know. But
Yeah,
like it's a good tune. I listen back to it, like so it goes to show you, you know. You
yeah.
don't need all that, like. And that kind of goes back to that punk stuff, you know? It's like it's like some you get that with some artists, like the first few albums they make where they don't really know what they're doing and there's a magic to it, you know?
Yeah.
And then when they get knowing what they're doing, it's never really as good, you know? So
When you were
yeah,
in
but
the
it
punk
goes to show
bands, were
you,
you
like you
recording?
don't need loads. What'd you say?
Sorry, I was just saying when you were in the punk bands, were you recording or was it just kind of a live thing?
I know we did record some of it, and again we've lost it all. So
Yeah.
sad. I'd love to listen to it, but no, it was dodgy. It was like it was. I can't imagine it was anything to listen back to, but it'd be good to have for nostalgia. But we used to, yeah, we got some of the stuff recorded, but uh, yeah, just a lot of gigs and a lot of rehearsing. But it
Did
was
you
great
learn that
crack.
from that, like from the recording? Because I remember, like, I used to be in bands when I was a teenager, and I was just kind of like very much like, yeah, let the technical people do their thing. I'll be over here when you're ready, kind of.
Yeah, no, I'm the same. I didn't get involved in it all back then, you know. I
Yeah,
know I kind of know a lot of it now just from doing my own stuff. Now, not recording live stuff, but kind of on the more technical side of it, you know. I've learned that over a while and I know how to make things sound better and I've learned a lot, but it was just kind of learning off YouTube, you know. But
yeah,
I feel like this that's why I kind of like this song that I'm putting out and I did one before. Did you know Dumb Posh Hippies? I think you might have
yeah. Of course, yeah. I've
talked
interviewed
about.
them. Yeah,
Yeah, I did a remix of one of their songs
yeah,
and
yeah. Scrunch up fist. Yeah,
yeah, and I really like that. It's like because and I listened to it and I listened to it some of the old stuff, and I just feel like it's a lot better sounding, like it's better produced, you know.
yeah,
So I'm kind of like I kind of feel happy that I'm getting there better, where I can hear what it needs, and you know, and it just sounds a lot clearer and more kind of professional, you know. So I'm
Are
happy
you
about that.
interested in doing more collabs and stuff,
Um,
or like remixes
I,
and stuff?
yeah, I would, yeah, I had great crack doing that,
Mm.
and it was good because like I mean, the amount of music I make that'll never see the light of day because I just like it could be really good, but I just get to a point where I'm like, I couldn't be fucking arsed with this anymore. But when
Yeah,
you do that, it's kind of like you have to finish it.
yeah.
And I didn't want to finish it. If he would have let me away with it, I would have said, man, I'm just giving up on this. But I wouldn't do that to him. But then I got through it and eventually I hate it when I handed it over to him, but I listened a few weeks later and I was like, that's actually all right, you know?
Yeah.
So go show you. Like, yes, I would. I'd love to do more remixes and stuff like that.
How'd that one come about? Do you know them or how'd that
Ah,
kind of
yeah,
start?
Fitzy be my good mate. Yeah, I know
Yeah,
Fitzy
yeah.
since back in school. Yeah, I was in bands with Fitzy actually. Or
Oh,
was I?
cool. Yeah.
Yeah, we were. Yeah, we were in a band together. Yeah, called Get Rhythm. So I know him a long time.
Oh, it's all
So
come together now.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I guess one final thing I'll ask you is, you've been doing this now for a while. What kind of keeps you motivated, keeps you wanting to do it?
I just love doing. Like, I just really like doing it. You know, like it's kind of like the way some people play PlayStation or something like that. Like, I
Yeah,
just love making tunes. It's just my hobby, you know. And I don't really care what happens or anything. Like, I'll still be 50, I'd say, doing it, you know, because it's just
yeah,
something I really like doing. Like when you make something that's even halfway decent, it's like it's a buzz, like, you know, like you feel like you've created something that wasn't there, you know. And I'm not trying to pretend like it's fucking anything groundbreaking the stuff I make, but like it's just a nice feeling, you know, and it's fun. And sure, what else would I be doing? You know,
yeah.
I might buy a PlayStation 5 now and GTA comes out and I'll never do it again, but we'll see.
That'd be the aim, getting the GTA 6 soundtrack before it comes out.
Yeah. Oh, that they got some legendary soundtracks, man.
Oh, they do, man. I'm actually,
Yeah.
it's funny, I was looking at it and someone was like, recently was like, oh, here's what I'd love for like GTA 6, and like half of it was just the soundtrack. I'm like, people take it very seriously, you know.
Yeah.
I was actually quite disappointed with the soundtrack to GTA 5 because they had the punk station, right? But they like the selections were strange. They were like weird album tracks and stuff like that. I'm always like, what the hell's going on? You know what I mean?
Was
But
that is I kind of I noped out after Vice City. Was that the one in New York? Was
uh,
it five?
no, 4 was the one in New York. 5 was the one like in LA.
Oh yeah, there was two of them after that. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
No, the Vice City soundtrack was fucking amazing. I remember that
Yeah.
well.
And the sad thing
And
is you can't even get the original soundtrack now because like every reissue there's just licensing issues. So like I
really,
think like all the Michael Jackson songs are gone. Like there's a bunch of songs that aren't there. It's same with San Andreas. Like every time San Andreas gets reissued, it's like, oh, here's like all these songs are gone and all, you know. So
yeah, I actually had San Andreas. Actually, that was the last one. I remember they had Freebird on it. And you'd be flying the
yeah.
fucking plane, and it was just like, yeah, oh, it's good shit.
So thanks for your time. I mean, one thing I guess I'll leave on is have you ever like when I was listening to your music, I mean like All the tracks seem very like individualistic. It really does feel like you're taking it like one brick at a time, and sort of letting each track be what it needs to be. Have you ever considered like an EP or a full release or anything like that, or is it just individual tracks is all that kind of interests you?
It's that's just down to time. Like
Yeah,
I have a full-time job. I got a daughter, so I just don't have the time. Like so
sure.
and also I'm really like, as I said before, I find it really fucking hard to finish anything.
Yeah,
Um, so I would love to. I would love to now. And to be honest with you, I'm between houses at the moment. So I haven't been able to make tunes for the last 2 months, but I should be moving into my own place now in 2 weeks, and I think I'll have a bit more time. So I would love to do that. Yeah, get about three tunes together and actually do that because I've never done that. It's just time really. But hopefully now in the future I'll get time and I'll be able to make something and get three or 2 or 3 songs together that kind of fit together and make a EP out of it. So hopefully.
perfect, man. Thanks very much. Is there anything you'd like to add before we wrap up, or we didn't cover?
No, that's it, man. No, just that song I think is coming out on 26th of June, I think.
That's what I have.
Uh
Yeah,
Lagan Love, yeah. So yeah, if anyone wants to go check that out.
perfect.
That's about it.
And do you have any kind of like social media around people can follow you on, or are you just like completely off it?
No, I'm on Instagram. I don't know my name though. Dan Ryan Music, I think.
I'll have a look and
Uh
just put it up.
yeah, I don't know. I think it's Dan Ryan Music. I should really know that. See, I
That's
don't like promoting.
Well,
I
that's the
don't
one
like
thing, man.
promotion.
It's like, every act now, every independent act has to be kind of like a promoter and do PR and stuff like that too now.
Yeah,
Is that something that's kind of like changed? Do you feel or like I don't know, do you feel there's more pressure, I guess, to have like some presence? Because I remember before, like, I like I knew people who were like rappers or I knew people in bands and like kind of in the 2010s it was sort of like people just used their own like public Facebook pages just go, oh, my band has a new song off, and that was like the PR. But like now everyone has to have like a dedicated like music page and somewhere where
yeah.
people can get updates and all that.
Yeah, I think you just have to do it now, don't you? Like, and
Yeah.
I don't think most people like doing it,
No,
Like I don't
no.
think it's something people just want to make their music
I
but
think I, I
I
I
don't know.
think I've spoken to one artist who enjoyed TikTok, but that was kind of it.
Yeah.
Like I don't think anyone likes doing the Instagram fucking here, check out like putting a poster
Yeah.
up or anything like that. Like it's just like that's what you have to do to get your like shit seen, I guess. But I do
Yeah.
know I think there are like some acts who actually do enjoy making like TikTok videos and stuff like that. I'm like, all right, great. I hate all the promo side of everything.
Absolutely. There was a guy, do you know, For Those I Love, that
Oh
Irish
yeah,
guy?
yeah, I've heard their name, yeah.
He put a daddy tune out there recently, but he did a video, and I guess it could be a promo video because he makes his own videos and everything, where he kind of showed you the breakdown of how he did it and all.
Yeah,
And that's kind of like that's good promotion. I do that, like. But
yeah.
as for doing TikToks and all that, no, I don't know. I'm not built for it. I don't think a lot of people are. Not a lot of people our generation anyway.
No, but you mentioned like you were kind of learning the skill set as you went in terms of like actually producing. Like, do you find that you're happy with your skill set now, or do you think you're always still learning? And like with the advancements in technology and stuff like that, there's always like new tech to learn, new
Yeah,
DAWs to learn, all that, and then having to kind of having that compounded, I guess, by like the social media and stuff like that, which is like really changed, I think, rapidly in the last 10 years or
yeah.
so.
No, I wouldn't at all. Like, yeah, as you said, like it's crazy what some people are doing now. So I wouldn't. It's always learning. But I'm hoping now. Yeah, there's just this whole technical side of dance music and electronic music that's like I'm not smart enough for it. Like
Hmm.
synthesizers and all this kind of crack. I know how to play around with them and get the sound I want off looking at a fucking YouTube tutorial, but to
Hmm.
be able to jump on them the way like these lads like Skrillex and all do and just be able to
Yeah.
fucking summon these mental sounds. Like I'd love to be able to do that, but I haven't quite got there yet. So that's kind of what I want to lean into a bit, like kind of learn how that works. I was actually thinking about just doing a course in it, like
Yeah.
because it's like you could learn off YouTube, but it'd be good to go and do a couple of months course and learn the technical side of it. And I should have done that a long time ago. Like if I go back in time, I'd love to have gone right after school and just done a year of music production. And it would have saved me 10 years of learning shit off YouTube and doing it wrong and all that. So
Yeah.
I think yeah, I think that's
Yeah, I
gonna
think
be on the
like
cards for me.
I think back then, like like learning production and stuff like that wasn't as widely accessible as it is now. Like I remember someone around 2012-ish had done a PLC in music production. I think that was like it was PLCs were kind of like the one opportunity, but I think like at like proper third level, so to speak, like it wasn't really that accessible. Now obviously you have things like BIM and stuff like that, which teach music production. But I think at the time it was like if you did, you could learn sound engineering, but that
Yeah.
wasn't necessarily for music production. It
Yeah,
was
you're
like
probably
for
right actually.
radio.
Yeah.
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 I think that's
But
gotten a
there's
lot better, man. I think like the kids now have a lot of better opportunities, like in terms of actually learning to do things professionally. I was speaking to a music promoter recently, and they were saying like, uh, when they started, it was sort of like putting all the information on like beer stained coasters and like cigarette skins and shit. And like now everyone's coming in
yeah.
with very professional like spreadsheets and being like, here's the running order, and they're able to do it a lot better. Like so
Yeah.
I think it's
And there's
kind of
just a
cool.
million, yeah, there's a million plugins and there's just so much there. And then who knows what this fucking AI shit is going to do to music. Like I'd say people are going to make some insane stuff with that, and
They already have. They're already
yeah,
starting.
is it out there already? Is it? Yeah.
Well, people have been doing like weird mashups and shit like that. Like the one thing that kind of like worries me a little bit about AI is that you can really emulate an artist. So you could like if you wanted to as a prank, you could be like, here's a lost Beatles song that just got released, and some people
Yeah.
will like a lot of people will see through it and go, that's bollocks, right? But some people will absolutely kind of go like, oh shit, how come this was never released? This is great, you know?
Yeah, that's kind of scary, isn't it? Like I
Yeah,
really hope it doesn't get good. Like I
I
really hope it
know.
doesn't start making deadly Beatle tunes. Like I don't want that. Like
Yeah, it kind of like as you're saying, like the kind of artistry you're saying, like where you kind of like, even though it's laborious and it's tiring, and oftentimes you kind of go, "Fuck this! Like, why am I still doing this?" There is something about like once you have a track complete, you're like, "Fuck, I made that." You know what I mean? It's like that's my expression. That's something I came up with. Where I feel
yeah.
like with AI artists, so to speak, will never get that satisfaction of being like, "Here's something I like toiled over and have like an end result, and I can listen back to it." You know?
Yeah, but like if I mean the listener doesn't really care how it's made. I
Oh,
mean
sure,
maybe they
yeah.
do a bit, but like if AI starts making really good music and people are like into it, I don't know. I
Yeah.
think that's it, like, which is sad. But I think like I don't know about way off in the future, but like I mean I see it with video now because I love movies and all that kind of stuff, and I
Yeah.
see people who make good visual stuff and they're using AI to get where they want, but it's not like they didn't just write into a chat box and go, this is what I want. It's kind of like
Yeah.
they're using it in a way and adding it with their actual, camera work and all that crack. So that's kind of good. And I guess music could use that as well, but just so long as it doesn't go to just putting a fucking prompt, I want a Lost Beatles tune, and then it cough out a real good
Yeah.
Beatles tune. That's when the game's over. Like,
Well, actually, one thing I was just noticing a parallel there, and I'd like to get your opinion on it. A big criticism of AI generated like content is that it's using other people's copyright material for reference points. Do you find any parallel between that and sampling?
yeah, I guess it does a bit, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, and that's kind of an argument for AI. It's like, well, you've been sampling, so I
Yeah.
don't know, I don't really know what to say to that. Like, it is kind of a bit of a conundrum, isn't it? Like,
Yeah.
what's the difference there? Um, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. It's
I
all too confusing for me.
I'm telling you, man, I'm foreseeing sooner rather than later, like some court case revolving AI and copyright. And I'm a little worried because I'm like, I know whatever the verdict is, that's going to be the precedent then going forward. So I hope when that happens, you get a
Yeah,
judge who actually kind of knows what they're dealing with. You know what I mean?
yeah. So what is it kind of thing where an AI artist can just like put in a snippet of, say, I don't know, someone like Bruno Mars and go make me something like that,
Yeah,
like
people can do
copy the
that. It started off actually kind of like so you could sing a tune, right? And then you bring it into an AI generated uh you enhance it with AI so that you can sound like Johnny Cash or whoever, right? And you could
ah,
make a song. So to some degree there was that human element where it kind of needed you as a reference and then the Johnny Cash songs as a reference. But I'm not too well versed in how AI technology works, like programmatically, like in terms of programming. I don't know how it works, but my understanding is that like it is sort of learning from. the works of other people. So even like, us speaking right now, that these are like reference points for people to like generate our voices and things like that.
Yeah,
So it's very creepy. It's very eerie. You know what I mean?
it's very creepy. But I guess like yeah, sampling compared to imitation. Yeah,
Yeah,
imitation feels a bit more slimy, doesn't it? At least with
yeah.
sampling, it's just like I've taken a bit of it and that's it. And I'm gonna manipulate it a bit. But yeah, imitation, no, that's just seems a lot more lizard-like or something. I don't know. I don't like it.
And the other good thing about sampling actually is that like sometimes you might be listening to like a track and they'll use like a sample from a film or something like that. Especially it's very common with metal actually where they start off with like something normally from like a horror flick, and I think like Ministry did it and stuff like that. Like a bunch of acts have done it. It's common in industrial music as well, and it kind of makes you go, that sounds cool. Like I wonder where that's from. You know what I mean? Like, so kind of
Yeah,
like in some ways kind of like broaden your horizons a little bit because like you're like, well, I was listening to this track, and then they used a sample from like Hellraiser or something like that. So then I wanted to check out the film, you know. So it
yeah.
feels like it's expanding your artistic reach a bit.
Yeah, I'm actually a big fan of that. I'm a big fan of like sampling lines out of movies and putting it into
Yeah,
tunes and all. I feel like it's a good shout out or something. You know what I mean? It's like bringing
yeah.
the two worlds together. Like, yeah, I'm a big fan of that. All right.
Are you influenced? Because like actually, I saw like a music video you did with 4 and that was for Chromags, and I thought it was like. I thought the cinematography was beautiful in that video. Are you influenced by like cinema as well?
Yeah, man, big time. Yeah, yeah, like most of the like if I look at my playlist on Spotify, the vast majority of it is music I've gotten off movies. You know, like I
Yeah.
really love movies, um, and I pretty much love like making videos for music as much, if not more, than actually making music. To be honest with you, because it's a bit
Do you have
easier to
hands on with
make.
that, or do you work with other people?
No, no, I don't, and I'd love to. Like that one for Chromags is just me with a camera and just going around. I was doing these bike tours around Ireland during lockdown, and I just,
Yeah.
I kind of knew what I was kind of like. I knew what I was going to make. I was going to make a kind of almost an Irish tourism video. I just wanted to get all the good scenery, um, and just put it together as one, And then I kind of learned how to do stuff on After Effects where I could manipulate things and kind of make it look trippy.
Yeah.
But no, I love doing that, and I'd love to. I've kind of run out of the road on that. Like, there's nothing really more I can do with just me and a camera.
Hmm.
I'd love to like actually make a music video. And I've got one in my head and I've got it all planned out, but I haven't the first clue about that world. I don't know how you go about it. It probably costs you a fucking heap of money that I don't have.
Yeah,
But
I can tell you this because I worked. I'll try to be vague about this. I worked with a video production company that did advertisements. I was interning that did advertisements with brands, and I'll just tell you the money that the companies were giving this production company were not in any way proportional to what they were getting back. So
really,
they will charge way more than is actually required. And I don't know, like,
yeah.
yeah, I don't know.
I'd love to make it happen. I was actually I wanted to do the video for this song and I had it all planned out in my head like and I think I think it would have been epic if I could have done it. But like I don't know, maybe someday, maybe if I make a song good enough someday, somebody will want to release it and then I could be like, yeah, well actually here I got an idea for a video. Uh so no, I love movies and like that's where the classical thing comes into a lot, like good movie soundtrack with some good strings and Hans Zimmer and all that. I mean, that shit
Mhm.
fucking moves me. Like, when a really good movie with a real good soundtrack, that's
Yeah.
like so special.
Yeah,
So
and I think it's also
very
interesting
influential.
many how many like people from who do movie soundtracks like come from like bands and stuff like that. Like I was thinking like Danny Elfman, was in Oingo Boingo, and he's like one of the most famous like composers now. And
What kind of band was that that he
Oingo
was in?
Boingo was like a new wave band. They're really good, actually.
Really? I
Yeah, and
didn't
then
know that, no.
obviously, I think Tim Burton was like a fan, and then he got to do Batman and Edward Scissorhands and all those films, and then, he did the theme tune for like The Simpsons, and he did like all these
Yeah,
different tunes over the years, and it just started with this like new wave band.
that's crazy, yeah.
Yeah,
Like they're very like I don't know how they go about like how do you get a movie and they're like go away and I don't know how they even start to come up with
yeah,
the sounds that they do. Like how and
yeah,
they kind of nail. I mean, Hans Zimmer is like, obviously amazing. Like how the hell does he go away and come back with something that amazing? Like where's the starting point? You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like if you're making a tune, it's like drums, bass, singing and all that. but just giving some scenes and going, I don't know. I just think I think they're amazing, the people that do that, you know?
Yeah, man, I saw a video of John Williams putting scoring the Star Trek, Star Wars Phantom Menace, and it's amazing because he has this full orchestra, and the scene is just being projected on this big monitor, and they're just playing along to it, and it's just like I don't know, man, it is like because like as you were mentioning, like kind of has to hit the beats of the editing as well of the film,
Yeah,
and that's weird too because films are re-edited so many times that I'm always like that's something I've thought about. It's like how do you know do you lose that synchronicity between the
yeah,
song and the image by re-editing things like in the process? I think in I don't know if you saw the original Joker movie that came out about 7 years ago or something now at this
the
point.
Joaquin Phoenix
But
one.
the Joaquin Phoenix one, yeah.
Yeah,
But that has a really great soundtrack. And what happened was, I think with that film, it's an Icelandic composer. I can't remember her name. But I think it's like Helena something, I think. But I think what happened with that was they just gave her like the names of parts of the film, so they didn't show her the film, and she just came up
right.
with something, and then they tied it in. I was like, and it works really well,
Crazy. And what's that guy? Was he in Tool? He does a lot of soundtracks now.
Maynard. I can't think of his surname.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he does amazing stuff as well. Like, yeah, I'd love to do that. But again, I don't think I'd be qualified to do that. But like, it's just yeah, it's amazing. Like, I just don't understand where they start from to make a soundtrack. You know, it's just I think it's really an art in its own. The whole
yeah.
that part of it. You know,
And also,
ever
if you
seen a
get
film called Arrival?
yes, I love that film. Yeah,
You like the end of that with the Max Richter
yeah,
nature of daylight, you know. Now that wasn't made for it, but like that's if you could pinpoint artistically like what I want to create or ending or what I love, it's like that's it, you know. The end of that movie to that song is that's just that's fucking art, like
yeah. And I also think like sometimes, I was thinking also. Sorry, we're just going to see tangent, but I'm enjoying the conversation. But Tubular Bells by Mike Oldfield. William Friedkin picked that up for The Exorcist, and that famous like keys is just like so synonymous with that film now.
yeah,
Even though it was like completely created, um, without any of that in mind, it was later picked up, but people think it's like it was created for the
yeah,
film. You know what I mean? It's great, like how like good cinema and music can kind of synchronize like that.
yeah, and like that's that when you have a song and you're putting a video to it, there's a buzz in itself for that. When like you know you've got a shot and then like it works with the
Yeah.
music and it skips at the right time. That's a whole other buzz in itself than making music or making videos. You know, when the two of them go together, it's a lovely feeling. You know,
Do you enjoy editing? Because I do. I find editing
I,
quite therapeutic, but I know
I
some
love
people who
it.
hate it. Yeah.
No, I love. I could sit there for hours and end doing it.
Yeah.
I really enjoy it. Yeah.
I'd
I'd love
say
to
it's sorry.
go on. What are you gonna say?
No, I was gonna say it is very intimidating when you put all your footage in the first time. You're like, fuck. But then
Yeah,
once you get in the rhythm, it's like it is just like zen to me.
yeah. It is.
Sorry, you're
I
gonna
can
say?
sit there for hours and do it. Yeah, yeah. It's. I love that part of it. You know, when I've got a song and it's finished and I've got all my footage and then just
Yeah.
putting it together. That's the real fun part, you know? Like music, when you're trying to get it right, it's fucking annoying, like, and it
Yeah.
goes on and it can be really a pain in the hole. But that's the bit I love the most. When you've got the song, you got your footage and you know it's looking good and you know you're nearly there and you just gotta sit there. You put your podcast on, you sit there. Yeah, I love
Yeah.
it, man. I could do it for hours on end.
Would you ever consider doing that for other artists, like doing it for
Yeah,
other
well,
artists' videos?
I did a video for Dumb Posh Hippies, um, but it was just like it was just they gave me footage of a gig.
Mhm.
Um, and I just chopped it up and kind of made it trippy looking. But I'd love to, yeah, I'd love to go into the film side, make a more film side of it more. But that's another thing I wonder is the point getting into it is AI just gotta steal it all. So I don't know what to do.
I've not actually. Video is one area where AI keeps fucking up because like there's always some at least the moment like AI is what do you call it, like developing so quickly that like maybe these flaws will eventually get polished out, but at the moment there's always like little tells where it's
There
like
is,
what gives it away. It's either hands for some reason it has a hard time generating accurate looking hands or text. So if you read like
yeah,
text in a thing, sometimes I just like mangle words and stuff like that. So those are the two tells for the moment. Like I'm sure it's gonna
yeah.
catch up and get more advanced. So
But even the ones where you can't, you're kind of struggling to tell. There's always that like, you know, what do they call it? um feeling where like you just get this feeling that you're looking at something not
Yeah,
human, you know? There's a word
yeah.
for it, I can't remember.
Uncanny Valley.
Uncanny Valley, that's it, yeah. So there's
Yeah.
someone I'm looking at and it's like I know this looks real, but I just know there's something not right here, you know? But I don't know,
Yeah.
maybe yeah, I guess it will go away after time. We won't know what the fuck's going on then.
On that note,
Yeah. On that grim note.
well, on that note, like, tune in next year. We'll all just be AI, just doing
Yeah.
podcasts, stuff like that. Thanks very much for your time, Dan. And yeah, what's I guess the final thing I'll leave you with is plans for the rest of the year.
No major plans. Just kind of keep. I'm looking forward to now getting to my new place and really getting stuck into some tunes. And I would like to, as you said, I would like to get an EP out. So I'm hoping now over the summer and into fall I'll get some good music going and hopefully make another good video and just get something out there.
Yeah.
I don't know what it will be, but something that I like, and I'm happy with. And yeah, that's about it.
And you are available for commissions if people need videos.
That's it. Yeah, give me a shout. Yeah, I am indeed.
Have you ever actually? I'm sorry, I keep going to end this, but then I think of something else. Have you ever had an issue where you haven't had enough coverage with the selections you do? So say you're editing a video for a 3 minute song. Has there ever just been a time where you just haven't had enough footage to cover that length?
Absolutely, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. It happened with that Cro-Mags one. I had to go out to Holt and walked around with Holt all day, and you find little tricks, You
Yeah,
find little tricks to try and make up the time. But ideally, yeah, I mean, the amount of footage I got for just a 3 minute video was insane. Like it kind of took me about 2 years, like
yeah.
between filming it and putting it all together. So yeah, I don't know. It takes a lot of work, But I'll just get an AI yoke now and just go,
You
and I'll
could
be
probably just
laughing.
use your own footage for reference, just like take a 2 second clip and be like, make this 15 seconds, please.
Yeah, yeah. And I'll be away then. We part of the
When you
problem.
could when you could have just slowed down the footage.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
thanks, man. It's been a treat, and yeah, and best of luck with the release. It's like you said, out June 26th, and this will be coming out to kind of coincide with that, so it'll be right out around that time. Yeah, thanks very much.
Brilliant. Cheers, man. I appreciate it.
Thanks. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your day.
See you, dude. Have a good one.
Bye. Thank you for listening to that episode of Post-Burnout.com interviews. We're an independent venture run by yours truly, and as I said at the beginning, liking, rating, subscribing, and sharing really helps us out a lot. If you're feeling extra generous, we do have a PayPal donation link in the episode description, but don't feel obligated, of course. We've also begun releasing occasional exclusive episodes on Spotify, so subscribe there if you'd be interested in hearing those. Thanks again for listening, and see you next time.